Listen, just one more thing.
Hello there. Welcome to my first video focusing on particular elements of the original Columbo series. In this one, I'll be talking about actors who appeared in Columbo before they were famous. Not necessarily their first role, but certainly before they became well known. Some I have already mentioned in my reviews, but I'll go into a little more detail here. So, first on the list is Jamie Lee Curtis. She makes a brief appearance as a waitress in the Bye Bye Sky High IQ murder case. If you're not aware, she is the daughter of Tony Curtis, who appeared with Peter Falk in The Great Race.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, very big, very big. The head, very big.
Time to get up.
Professor, time to get up.
And Janet Leigh, who appeared with Falk in an episode of Theatre of Stars called Dear Deductible, and of course the earlier episode of Columbo, Forgotten Lady.
Grace Wheeler?
Yes.
Oh.
Curtis had made a couple of guest spots in other TV shows before this, and a few months after this episode aired, she would appear as a series regular in the series Petticoat Affair.
May I remind you that this is a fighting boat, it's not a cruise ship.
Hi, you want to join us for some shuffleboard?
Which was a series based on her own father's film, Operation Petticoat.
Have you ever been to Las Vegas?
Why?
Well, the boys up there would say you're trying to make your point to Hardway.
That show only lasted 2 years, and she left it after Series 1, when her first film role as Laurie Strode in Halloween put her on a steep path to stardom. She appeared in that film with former Columbo guest star Donald Pleasance.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left.
They were all ruined, weren't they?
In the episode, it's a very funny scene, and even with limited screen time, she does make a memorable impression, as she chides Columbo for bringing his own food into the restaurant.
You buy that here?
No, I bought it in the donut shop because I was going to eat it in the elevator, but then I saw my friend here and,
Second on my list is Katie Seagal, also making a brief appearance in the episode Candidate for Crime as a secretary. She is also from a show business family. Her mother, Sarah Zwilling, was a singer, producer and television writer, while her father, Boris Seagal, was a director who directed this very episode. Her father was tragically killed in an on-set accident, the details of which I won't go into here. Her godfather is sitcom writing and producing legend Norman Lear. She would appear with Falk again over 30 years later in the TV movie When Angels Come to Town.
In all my years on the job, this is the first time anyone has had to come down to discipline one of our field agents.
Discipline?
You have been reprimanded numerous times.
She had also had a couple of appearances in other TV shows before this, and a few after, but didn't fully commit to acting until over a decade later, when she became a household name after appearing as Peggy Bundy in Married with Children, for a decade alongside Ed O'Neill.
Hi, Peg. And before you say hi to the milkman, it's me.
I know. I have a nose.
She would maintain a successful career with roles in 8 Simple Rules for 3 years, in a voice role in Futurama as Leela on and off from 1999 to the present day, and in Sons of Anarchy for 6 years. The scene she appears in is fairly forgettable, and Seagal has very little to do. But she's also virtually unrecognisable as a 18-year-old, and certainly doesn't give off the kind of no-nonsense attitude she would be known for in later roles.
All right, Helen. What else have we got?
Lunch at 12 with Judge Forsberg. The Hadasity's been pushed back to 3, and you have a staff
All
meeting at
right,
5.
all right. I'm sorry I asked. Come on, Lieutenant. Come on.
Third on my list is Ron Rifkin, who has a small role as a director in Make Me a Perfect Murder. Rifkin had far more credits under his belt by the time he appeared in Columbo, including the films Silent Running and The Sunshine Boys, although he was pretty firmly fixed as a character actor for the rest of his career, even when he was able to gain more success in high-profile films like LA Confidential and The Negotiator. He really started getting noticed for his role in Alias as Arvin Sloane.
Excuse me. Do you have a minute?
Yeah, of course.
In Brothers and Sisters as Saul Holden.
Hello, Saul? Oh, Captain, thank God. What's going on? Are you okay?
I'm at the police station.
I need you to come down here and get me.
And as a very dependable supporting actor. His scenes in the episode add some depth to the character of the murderer, and he's excellent as the TV director managing a show rehearsal that is descending into chaos.
Where are we?
Replace her, Kay.
Valerie?
She's never gonna make it. Not a live show, not in this world.
Oh, come on, we're on tomorrow night.
She's terrified. She's hysterical.
Fourth in my list is Blythe Danner, who plays the downtrodden wife of composer and murderer Alex Benedict in Etude in Black. Technically, this is a 2-for-1 Before They Were Famous cameo, as she was pregnant with Gwyneth Paltrow at the time, but let's not get silly. Danner would go on to have a long career in film, television and on stage, and would gain renewed fame later in life in Meet the Parents and its sequels.
You're dishonest about everything.
You're so much better, Jack. Why don't you tell everybody what you did last night to Greg at the party?
Muskrat, Tina.
Oh, stuff your muskrat, Jack.
And would appear with Falk again in his last starring role in the film 3 Days of Rain. This was a relatively early role in her career, and a much more prominent and important character than any of the others I've highlighted so far. It's a great performance as we see a loyal wife become distrustful of her husband and is then gaslit to believe he's perfect until virtually the very last scene, where she is able to see him for what he is.
Let me just see you alone one moment.
I could have stood for anything, Alex, anything in the world. Not murder.
The final Before They Were Famous comes late in the series in How to Dial a Murder, which features Kim Cattrall as the non-lover of murderer Dr. Eric Mason.
You've wanted to go ever since you've known.
Known what?
That you and I aren't going to be lovers.
Cattrall had a handful of credits to her name before this appearance, but would go on to have many prominent roles in the years that followed. She has the most emotionally intense performance of any name in this list, being the person who discovers the body of Dr. Mason's colleague, that has been torn apart by the doctor's dogs. In a rare occasion where we don't see the body, indicating how bad the scene is, she carries the trauma through the episode, and on top of the psychological torture the doctor puts her through.
I came in and he was on the floor. And the dogs were at his throat. I tried, but I couldn't do anything. I ran away.
It's an incredibly strong performance from an actor just starting her career, and she plays the fragility of the character so well. Despite the intensity of the character, Cattrall has gone on record as having fond memories of her time appearing in Columbo. As a bonus for anyone who thinks I may have forgotten, I could hardly end this list without mentioning the briefest of appearances from Jeff Goldblum as an extra in A Case of Immunity. He has a blink and you'll miss it appearance as a protester outside the fictional embassy of Suari. He doesn't even manage to be there for every protest, but it's unquestionably him, and not in his first role. This was actually his fourth role, although it remains uncredited for obvious reasons. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the top 5 before they were famous appearances in the original Columbo series. If I've missed any from the original series, please do let me know in the comments. Thank you. Goodbye.